Somewhere between Vienna and Budapest, the night leans against the glass, and the tracks hum with a memory you can't quite place. The past, like these passing lights, always seems warmer, closer, simpler. We edit it that way. It promises a home we've never properly left, and it lies. I'm Adrian Vale. I've been walking old roads for most of my life, and everywhere I go, people tell me the same story. It used to be better. The 90s, the 2000s. The summers with no phones, the friendships that didn't need calendars. Today we ask, why does the past glow? And how do we see through its soft, deceitful light? In Lisbon, an old cafe owner once showed me a wall calendar from 1997. The best year, he said, tapping the yellowed page with a grin. Then he paused. Or maybe I just remember it that way. That pause between what happened and what we remember is our doorway. Memory is not an archive, it is a studio. Every time we return, we repaint the same canvas with slightly different light. We call it nostalgia, as if it were a place. In truth, it's a technique. Psychologists call it Rosy retrospection, the tendency to remember the past as more positive than it was. There's also the fading affect bias. Our negative emotions decay faster than our positive ones when we look back. Pain blunts, pleasures keep their shine. Memory is not a faithful witness, it is a curator with a taste for warmth. Our days are full of static, emails, rain, waiting rooms, the hum of the ordinary. The brain compresses experience. It saves the peaks, the turning points, the story beats. When you recall the 2000s, you don't recall standing in line at the post office. You remember the first time you heard a song that felt like a doorway opened, or your first flip phone snapping shut like a secret. We forget the friction, we keep the gleam. We also remember what survived, friendships that lasted, technologies that remained charming. That's survivorship bias. The failed gadgets, the bad ideas, the aimless afternoons, they fell away. The playlist kept only the hits. Today's marketplaces and mood boards sell us the 90s and the 2000s as a sanctuary. VHS fuzz, lo-fi beats, candy-colored plastic. The early web looked like a frontier. Your desktop felt like a private island. We wear the past like vintage denim, comfortably soft, pre-faded, already belonged to. But the 90s were not a hammock, and the 2000s were not an unbroken summer. There were wars we watched in pixelated streams, recessions we tried to laugh through, whole regions inventing tomorrow with one foot on unstable ground. The internet spat pop-ups like rain. Music was cheap and magical. It was also stolen and fragile. The fashion was fun. So was the cruelty. Every age is a braid of marvel and mess. Memory tends to keep the ribbon, not the knot. Nostalgia isn't a malfunction. It's soothing. It anchors identity. It tells you that you have a story. It reassures you that you mattered somewhere. When the future is foggy, the past looks like a lighthouse. The beam is steady because it does not move. But there is a cost. If we stare at that light too long, we miss the rocks ahead. and the harbor that could still be built. Martin Heidegger thought a lot about time, not clock time, but the way existence is stretched like a tent between what has been and what can be. For him, we are not just creatures with a past, we are beings who project ourselves toward possibilities. We are always underway. He distinguished an authentic stance from an inauthentic one. Inauthenticity is not villainy, it's a drift. We sink into the public mood, the chatter of they. They say it was better back then, they say it's all downhill. We adopt idle talk like a weather report and take shelter beneath it. Authenticity, by contrast, asks us to own our temporality, to recognize that our life is finite, that we are thrown into a time not of our choosing, and yet we are responsible for what we make of it. The past is not a museum we live in, it is material for a project we must build. If we flee into nostalgia, we trade the difficult freedom of making for the easier comfort of remembering. Heidegger would remind us, the past is never only behind, it is having been, woven into the present. The present is not a frozen moment, it is making present, how we bring things near. And the future is projection, the way we open space for what could be. If our projection weakens, if the future feels vacant, we will thicken the past. The glow brightens when tomorrow dims. We are living with a surplus of uncertainty, climate graphs that kink upward like a fever, jobs remade by algorithms, information that multiplies faster than trust. When the unknown grows, the human animal seeks shelter. Ambiguity aversion is not a philosophy, it is a reflex. And the past, fixed in retrospect, is the least ambiguous thing we have. We are not weak for wanting a refuge, but a refuge is not a home if it keeps you from building one. Here is the trick. Nostalgia compresses costs and inflates benefits. It edits out the price of what was and undervalues the price of not moving. It makes us politically pliable. Make X great again is an invitation to a memory more than a program. It makes us economically pliable. Vintage edition, reissue, classic taste turns longing into transactions. And it makes us spiritually timid, bargaining with time instead of inhabiting it. The antidote isn't amnesia, it's apprenticeship. Treat the past as a workshop, not a womb. Keep its techniques, craftsmanship, patience, slower attention. Challenge its blind spots. Who was excluded? What was ignored? Carry its music forward, rituals that bind, songs that lift, without asking them to do today's thinking for you. Honor your elders by becoming a good ancestor. The past is not there to be recreated, it's there to help you create. A few simple practices help. Journal now, not later. Archive your ordinary days. The future you will thank you for leaving in the friction. Do context walks. Visit the places you think you miss, the old neighborhood, the schoolyard, and notice what your memory skipped. Cross-pollinate generations. Have dinners with people 10, 20, 40 years apart from you. Trade playlists and regrets. Build forward rituals. Make a weekly gathering, a seasonal challenge, a personal Sabbath. Nostalgia often hides a hunger for ritual, so cook new ones. Design for uncertainty. Set aside time, money, and patience for experiments. Projections strengthen when we practice making small futures. Keep a memento mori. A reminder that time is finite does not darken life. It intensifies it. It pulls meaning out of the museum and onto your workbench. On that night train, the past pressed its cheek to the glass and offered me the comfort of a story I already knew. I smiled and let it pass. The present, after all, is the only time that can love you back. The future is the only place your courage can live. We do not escape uncertainty by running backward. We learn to walk with it, step by step, making a path that others might one day remember. Fondly, yes, but accurately. Not because it was easy, but because we made it honest. I'm Adrian Vale. Keep going. The road behind you is beautiful. The one ahead deserves your best.